Everything is from within. Everything is you. So everything on the external is an extension of the internal. So everything happens from within. I think that if you haven't manifested something yet, and again, I stress yet, and you're wondering what you're doing wrong, it was that you're failing to realize that everything is from within. Everything is mental. Everything comes from you. So there's no reaching out. Like if you're trying to manifest love, and a lot of times I hear, when do I stop manifesting and decide to contact them again? No, you don't. And if you just gasped like, well, then they're never going to contact me. Well, then that's a perfect key indication of your self-concept sucks. And you're never going to manifest what you want until you adjust that self-concept to be someone who is unforgettable, amazing, irresistible, all of those things. Now, maybe those were kind of exaggerated, but the trick is that in order to experience something that you want, the kind of lifestyle that you want, you have to be a vibrational match to it. And a vibrational match to it, that sounds really fancy and really kind of confusing, but it's really easy. It's your self-concept. It's what you think you can have in life. It's what you think you are worth in life, what you deserve in life, what you can have. So it's not that you're not taking any action at all. And this is where it does get a little confusing, because I did say it all happens from within. But for example, if you're trying to be a success in business, that doesn't mean you just sit at home and watch TV. You have to do things that are in line, sort of constructive and harmonious, without messing with the middle. So if you were trying to manifest success in business, you would do the things you felt inspired to do to share your talents with the world, your creativity, what you want to be compensated for. If you were trying to manifest love, you would take good care of yourself. You would take good care of your home, because manifesting a partner, you share your home with them. So you would sort of prepare your space and your physical well-being and sort of get to a place of confidence where you're really feeling whole and complete as a person, so that you can then, in fact, manifest your perfect equal, someone who is also whole and complete. You don't want to manifest someone who is broken or codependent. Like, those types of relationships never work. So you want to work on confidence levels. In fact, in terms of business too, that also has to do with confidence levels. Even improving your physical self, that is, again, confidence levels. So seeing yourself in a way where you take care of your well-being, your mental state too, like how you talk to yourself in your mind, your self-talk. That is something that you can change. So you're making these changes that are within, that make sense, that are not pushing, forcing, messing with the middle. If you're confused about what is messing with the middle and what isn't, I'm always here for you. DreamLifeByVeronica.com. I'm happy to personally help you. I've had years of work on myself, on my life, and I know what works and what doesn't work. And I know it gets confusing because lots of different people say lots of different things, but I will give you the best advice possible, and that is to always listen to yourself. If someone is giving you advice, even if it's me, like, don't just blindly follow anything that I say. Does it make sense to you? Does this particular bit of advice make you feel better, make you feel more at one with that creative flow within you? Do you feel energized? Do you feel excited to wake up in the morning? You'll know it's working if these key indicators are coming up. And, watch whatever videos you want. There's plenty of people giving manifesting advice, but listen to what makes sense to you, and that will always be the right answer. So it's really not complicated. Like, manifesting should never exhaust you. It should never deplete you. It should never monopolize your life. It should go hand in hand with your life. It should be a facet of your life. That is a new way of living through mindfulness. It should not be something that you do and then you go back to your other life. It's never going to work if you keep it separate. It has to be as a whole. You'll know it's working by how you feel. It's that easy. And people are involved in all of our manifestations. All of our manifestations involve people. Say you want to buy a house. You have to buy a house from someone that owns it. Say you want to build a successful business. Maybe you want 1 million followers on Instagram. It involves people. So, do you see yourself in the way that you want them to see you? For example, if you want to be really successful on social media, do you believe in yourself the way you want someone else to believe in you? Because someone's not going to follow you unless they believe in you, unless they find you interesting, attractive in some way, captivating, someone who is worth following. So do you see yourself in that way? And if the answer is no, what are ways that you can raise your sense of self? Believe in yourself more. You do not have to have accomplishments underneath your belt in order to believe in yourself. The choice to be confident is just an opinion and an attitude you take. But say you want to be loved and you want this person to adore you. Do you adore you? Do you unconditionally love yourself? Like, how are you going to manifest unconditional love in a relationship if you don't even feel that way about yourself? It's not going to happen. You may have heard you can't be loved by someone until you love yourself. I mean, it may sound corny, it may sound silly, it may sound almost useless, but it all really gets down to, if you want, say you want a client, you want someone to pay you for a service. Do you see yourself as worth that service? I mean, I know in my own life, like I tried businesses before, but I always felt inadequate. I always felt like I wasn't accomplished enough, like I was charging too much money because I wasn't really worth it. And when I started to see myself as worth it, that's when people started easily, gladly paying more. Like they were ready and willing to pay me, even more so than I asked. I mean, think about like a service that maybe makes you really happy and it's somebody that you really admire and you want to buy their product. You're really glad to give them that money. So if you're trying to attract business in that way, people to pay you, you have to see yourself in that way. And by default, it just automatically happens. Again, we're not manipulating the people in our world. They're freely doing it from their own free will. But you have to align with the experience. And you align with the experience with seeing yourself in that way first. The $1 million question is, how do we change our self-concept? How do we do that? How do we suddenly start feeling a different way about ourselves? It sounds hard. It's not. Mindfulness. It's so underrated. Mindfulness is basically, I am paying attention to what is going on inside my mind and heart. So I'm mindful about noticing what is going on in my mind and heart. Now you may say to me, okay, so I'm noticing that I talk really badly to myself and I don't like myself and I don't think very highly of myself. So what good is that going to do? You can notice it. You can be like, wow, that is a pattern that I'm doing. Probably a lot more than I've realized, because we tend to not be mindful. We tend to just kind of let our minds go crazy, do whatever they want. And usually they're going to gravitate towards the not so good stuff, because that always feels more real. For some strange reason, like disappointments and the repeat of failures feels more real, feels more realistic, feels more like what we're going to experience. That really doesn't have to be true at all. It just feels more real because you've probably experienced more of that. So you have more familiarity with failure. But that isn't because it's more likely to happen. It's just probably because you haven't practiced much mindfulness as a whole in your life. And so more chaotic things happen to you. It's kind of because you weren't paying attention. You weren't really operating this great machinery of your mind and heart. So it almost feels like that's what you're supposed to experience, or that's what life is, that life is hard. In fact, people say this all the time, life is hard. Being mindful of the types of statements you're making about life can give you key indications of what you can aspire to be. And the great secret is that you are love, light, abundance, perfection. So if we can just notice these things and choose to no longer let them have this sort of scary, monster-like quality to them. So when we choose to not notice them, and we choose to almost pretend like they're not there, we're not supposed to think these things about ourselves, not sort of ignoring them. We give them power. They grow underneath the surface. They just kind of fester. But when we can notice them, if you kind of confront your fear, you confront these bad things, it takes the edge off of them. And again, since you're love, light, and abundance at your core, that can really only take its place. So it's not that improving your self-concept really is about saying a ton of self-concept affirmations. Like, those can be helpful and those can make you feel more comforted, but that really isn't the totality of the work. The totality of the work really is just being mindful and understanding what you've been telling yourself, questioning, why would I want to keep doing this? It doesn't make me feel very good. But just in merely just noticing it, like that, it takes the edge off of it. It lessens its strength as the scary monster in your mind, the self-concept that you've been attaching to you, which wasn't true at all. It's just that, again, you didn't practice much mindfulness as a whole in your life, and you felt more familiarity with that. And it can be undone that easily. Like, you can redo your self-concept so easily. That's really all it is. Enroll in my free 10-day Manifesting Miracles course, studywithveronica.com, personal mentorship there as well. Subscribe for all the tips, tricks, and hacks you need to live your best life ever. And I'm wishing you all the miracles in the world. You deserve it.